House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
We are two thumbs up. We are all systems go, and at least one of us is not on Guam right now. We'll let you, the viewer, figure it out. I'm Jason. That's Liz. That's Gina. And we are House to Home. We are coming to you from Zoom. But ladies, always good to hang out with you. And I know we are going to tackle a topic that Gina, you bring up quite often because, you know, the island's real estate and realtor community, you know, they're not only learned professionals, they're not only very collegial, they're also very, very concerned Guamanians about not only for their own industry, but the way things are going here and protecting our quality of life. So we kind of wanted to touch a little bit in this segment and just talk about what some of the key issues with the general election just right around the corner are for people in your field of work.
Yes, well, recently the Guam Association of Realtors, through their legislative committee, which John Duenas and Monty McDowell are chair and vice chair, correct, Liz? So they conducted, Monty is the chair. So they conducted interviews, and they went about doing this by first inviting all the senators that are running on each side, Democrats and Republicans, and they sent them a list of questions that the association felt concerned them the most. These are the things that are most dear to our, we believe, to our customers and affect our business. And so the questions particularly touched on real estate subjects. And they went about, so they first sent them the questionnaire, and that way the representatives, these candidates, can prepare themselves before the actual interview. And I think the association was looking to see what their viewpoints were, what they understood about the subject, and what, you know, and you could have a viewpoint and not be well versed in a particular subject. There are things that Liz and I come across, and we have an opinion about what we think is best for ourselves and maybe our family, and then the industry, in that order usually. And that's what I think the association was hoping to get from these candidates. Right,
and you
Liz?
said that last week. You know, the membership was not looking for, you know, rock solid 100%, you know, viable solutions. I mean, that would be great, but you're also looking for preparation, you know, empathy. Do you actually understand you know, the market and the plight of the realtors? And it's not all just like, you know, does Guam real estate community say, are we going to get higher commissions? It's about, do these potential legislators understand commercial development? Do they understand land expansion? Do they understand, you know, the regulatory nature of the things that you deal with every single day?
That's right. So we, the legislative committee, formulated their questions, but they also requested input from the membership, which we have 638 members, I believe, right now. And of course, those numbers keep changing. So what they did was request for input and additional comments so that they add to the list of questions. So once they completed their questionnaire, these questions were sent out to all the candidates. And bear in mind, there was transparency. There was no hidden agendas. The questions were cut and dry, and basically wanting to know what the standpoints were from each of the different candidates. So when they appeared at our town hall meeting, we had members of our association sign in to observe. The candidates showed up. Out of the Democratic candidates, there were 6 of them, and out of the Republican candidates, there were 11 out of the senatorial candidates. So each of them were asked questions, basically what was in the questionnaire. So these questions were asked. Each of them responded. So the committee took a number of points to look at how do we rank them in order to recommend which ones to support. And the ranking had to do with, did they fill out the questionnaire? Did they show up for the town hall meeting? And then the other factor was, what was their responses and how it affected our real estate community. So based on that, they put together ranking, and that was how we arrived at the list of candidates. Now, anyone could go to the Guam Association of Realtors and look up our site at our site, it shows a video of the line of questioning during the event. It also shows what the questions were, and then it showed who was supported.
And
so
that's
the Guam
GuamRealtors.com, by the way, if you'd like to check out the officially endorsed candidates for yourself, by the way.
Right, and it would show the supporting footage as to how they arrived. Now, I'm sure not everyone is going to agree with how they were who was supported. However, again, I want to emphasize it was based on a ranking system, line of question, response to the questionnaire, whether they completed, turned it in, and whether they appeared. So that was how they arrived at that. So, we just want to be clear that this is how they ranked it.
Sure. Okay. Now, ladies, I mentioned empathy as kind of like a important criterion for all of you moments ago and everything. I can't believe I've never asked the both of you this. Has there ever been someone who worked as a real estate professional that wound up becoming a senator eventually, or has there ever been anyone who was a sitting senator and then decided to get into the real estate business after? Was former Senator Mike Limtiaco a realtor at one point?
Not that I'm aware of.
I know he got into agriculture after he left office and everything. I know he's running a farm, but I can't remember if Mike was a former senator. I mean, a former realtor.
We did have realtors run in the past, but none that did. And I had a question that, well, shouldn't we support any realtor run? And my response to that was they have to go through the same process. They have to, be ranked based on that. And just because they're a realtor does not necessarily mean it's an automatic in. It means follow the process, and you have to go through the same ranking system all the others went through.
By that merit, if a current practicing realtor did run, they're probably under more pressure to appeal to their fellow colleagues because they understand the business and more is expected of them, right, Gina?
Yes, absolutely. But more is expected of us as realtors. We have a huge responsibility to be more aware of what's going on in the legislature, because what I notice is, especially now, it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on down there, right? I try to log on after work so I could listen. The budget hearings was really important. That went on for quite a bit of time, and there's been bills that have passed recently that it's difficult to keep up with what they're doing down there, and most of it goes on during the day. So honestly, Liz and I, we barely have time to get our work done during the day. So it's hard for us to be able to go down there and participate with the hearings, at least be present to hear what's going on. So we try to log on after work and listen to what's been happening. But at that point, it's a done deal. We're just listening for the, okay, how is this going to impact us now? But we are really encouraging people to participate. As Liz pointed out, the interviews, you can go on the GAR website and listen. There are still current interviews going on. You can go on the KUM website and listen to interviews of all the representatives that are running, because it's really important. This is probably, for me, I think, one of the most important elections, both stateside. So if you've got family members in the US and here, there's a bunch of issues right now that are on the table that I think is going to be critical. We've got a lot of money that's going to be spent or is currently being spent on island. And I drive around. 2 nights ago, I was driving home at 8 p.m. at night, and I was just absolutely amazed at how dark the streets were. And I was by myself. And I was thinking to myself, we've got so much money on this island, and I'm driving in the dark. There's no reflectors on the road that has newly been paid. Well, it's been paid for months, and there's no reflectors. And I put my high beams on just to make sure I didn't run into anyone or run into an animal or a person on the side of the road. And I was thinking, where's all this money going if we can't even
Was that
keep
you the other night?
lights
Because I was coming in the opposite direction. I was like, man, who's turning on their
That
high
was
beams
me.
now? That was you. Okay, but now I know you're being safe, so that's okay.
I was scared.
Okay, pinky swear because you're a nice person. Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear. Yeah,
Be more
you're
mindful.
looking out for your fellow Guamanians.
Yeah, but
if I can share a similar story, ladies, I was actually I was visiting a friend of mine over at GRMC last week, and we were up on the 5th floor, in his hospital room, and I remember just looking out, at that beautiful vista of the road heading up to Camp Bloss now, and I was like, wow, look at all of this, undeveloped land and jungle, and obviously the military's got, their projects that are in place right now. And then another friend that came over actually told me, he goes, within the next couple of years, you're not going to see any of the shrubbery in it. Like a lot of this stuff has already been, it's either in planning or it's been acquired, or, these, like every square inch of that, like definitely has value and has potential.
Yeah, it's it's interesting that the buildup is coming, and I think for Guam, it's important to find out with our candidates who support the military buildup. I remember a time when we had some issues and there was a decline in the military. Remember, I don't know if you remember that period. There was a decline and a drop in our economy. And I remembered, I've always told the real estate agents, you have to diversify. You can't focus on just one part of our market, because when one drops, you have an alternative to focus on. But for our island, we're fortunate that we're having this buildup because the States is going through a recession, and Guam will be at least supported through this buildup process. I think the only issue we have to focus on now would be our housing shortage, and how do we make up for to make low to middle income housing available, both on the rental side as well as purchase side. So those are things, this new group of senators that are coming in, and let's look at how can we make that difference. What solutions? I mean, many of us have ideas. How do we make this work? Right. But we need to do a collaborative effort to put our heads together that there is a solution. We just have to work on it.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, watching this and everything, we really appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week or checking us out on YouTube and Facebook for this segment, because, you got a couple more weeks to educate yourself, to amass information, just like Liz and Gina and their colleagues have. And, get trick-or-treating out of the way, buy some candy, pass out stuff to the little ones and everything. But then you got a big decision to make, which is coming up on November 8th. And that is on Super Tuesday if you don't vote earlier. So, ladies, I can actually see and hear in your voices that, you're not just harping on the political process and everything. You guys are actually very much appreciative and grateful for the fact that we actually have these forums and these venues so that you can understand, who these people are, the ones behind. And, much like yourself, here's Gina with her wonderful sign and says, I'd like to help you. Here's Liz that says, I can get you this land and everything like that. But there is a person behind that, and there's a personality and a strategy, and, and someone who wants to do the work. And, and at least with in public service, that has to be earned through your vote. So, it's good that we have these venues.
I want to add, Jason, Gina and I are not running for office. We're here to help the community in the capacity that we're in. And we're also doing a number of other nonprofit organizations that we're involved in.
That's right.
So
if you see the little R after Gina's name, that's for Remax. That's not Republican Party. That's Remax.
Yes, it's about our island and it's about our people. Yeah, let's make that different.
There you go. All right, Liz and Gina, thank you so much. Always good hanging out with you. And Liz, I know you've got a little frog in the throat, so please have some hot tea over there in Manila. They've got some very good places where you can go for that.
Oh, Jason,
thank you.
Away.
That's why I'm saving it until the end. Well, we gave away your thing about the high beam, so we've all got our secrets on this show.
Now everybody knows who's off island.
There you go. All right. Take care, ladies. All right, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.